am Robert Sterling Price, and I am the guy building a futures functionalist public starship industry. It's basically a $3 trillion IPO that will be, the shares will be contracted. You'll have to sign a contract. You might have to make an entire new stock exchange to do this. But basically, this IPO, the shareholders are limited to actually making a profit because the bottom line of this IPO is literally giving every single human over the age of 18 a miniaturized starship. So we build the economic base for the Futures Functions Public Starship industry, which was the private starship industry of Robert Sherman Price, but it's going to be probably named Public Futures Functions Public Starship industry. So all the amenities that a person would typically have in their household will be put in a miniaturized starship given to them by this IPO to build the economic base of the new economy that we will be mastering. And all those amenities like the phone bill, not amenities or whatever they're, those aggravating things like phone bill, power bill, taxes, all that stuff is gone, literally. You, in this starship industry, in this subatomic revolution, an exponential subatomic revolution, if you will, all those main bills are gone. All those amenities become priorities, like the mail. You can have free mail, free phone, free internet communications, free internet access, and food will be quite a bit cheaper. All right, but you got to understand, the IPO gives you the miniaturized starship, and then you go out into space and have those amenities of humanity, the entire world. You'll have the same thing as what's on planet Earth, but like the phone bill and all that stuff, dimensionalized communications, galaxy wide, those priorities, those things become priorities, and they become free. We'll keep them free so that the money will go back into the starship industry. You will basically go out, settle a new planet, yourself with your wife or whatever, your family, or your group of people, and then you will basically just go back to work. You can either, it'll be probably like the day is cut short, like half a day or 6 months out of the year. Essentially, for 6 months out of the year, you work for the subatomic revolution doing stuff, or you can go back into a normal job, but the subatomic revolution could possibly pay you like $1 million a year to do stuff. Put out century posts, explore planets, do extreme deep teleportation mining, anything. Put GPS satellites around other Earth-like worlds and stuff like that. So you get paid $1 million a year going to space. We're going to probably try to make the IPO constantly take in money and pay literally every employee that goes to space and colonists literally $1 million a year. That'd be the maximum. Talk about economic deportation. That's what I kind of left off in my last video. But so what is economic deportation? The subatomic revolution, are literally ripping away the human race from its own ignorance and stupidity. We're taking people, we're taking people away from their ignorance, and all the simple stuff we can do with computer structure, space fabric, we can do with robots, and making them do more intelligent, more complicated things that these things cannot do or imagine. Basically, economic deportation, basically we build an entire factory. We got like 60-foot wide big block hard mass levitators. They'll levitate that entire factory up. This factory will have a computer structured space fabric in it. This factory could land like in freaking Africa in the middle of the war in Africa and literally emit computer structure space fabric, and nobody can shoot anybody. But that factory would allow those people to go to work for a day, get some money, and get some basic civilities. And guess what? An RPG, a bullet, that was 100% EMP'd. It'll be stopped. Literally, computer structure space fabric will stop every single bullet flying, artillery, ballistic missile, and it can EMP an individual, and it'll stop the flow of the matter through the nerves and all that stuff. So you'll be 100% EMP incapacitated. And if you're apprehended by the authority, whatever the hell they are, you get arrested and thrown in prison. See, I can put a factory in the most acclaimed war zone on the face of the earth and have normal people go to work and not be killed. They can work for a day, and then they take their money home at the end of the day, and they couldn't do nothing about it. The war in that area would stop. So this factory is so valuable, this computer structure space fabric factory making any sort of good, any sort of material. This entire factory, probably 3 or 4 foot thick slab of concrete with foam metal that's about a foot thick. It's an inch of metal, a solid steel. Then it's foamed in the middle. And this allows for the secondary shielding on the Starship. So high priority is to get the foam metal machines made at the steel manufacturing, whatever we gotta do to get that going, and then we sell that to get that whole line of industrial goods out. We sell that foam metal steel just to put more money back into the IPO and stuff, and to keep everything flowing nicely, because it still takes a lot of money. So economic deportation. We take that factory and we put it on another Earth-like world. Now some factories, well, they'll have millions of factories. Computer structured space fabric. It'll levitate that car, four-wheeler, levitating four-wheelers, high priority. You can explore a planet a lot easier. Now you got a hard mass levitated four-wheeler. It'll exfoliate the space fabric. You can defoliate the ground, defoliate the leaves. They'll come right back next season. You can go through a toxic cloud of gas. You can make a tunnel right through that. This is so important. So you got a hard mass levitator. It emits computer structured space fabric. And it can do anything. So the computer structured space fabric hits the molecules of gas. It immediately deprives that molecule of any relativity, and that molecule literally just falls down to the ground, just like snow or whatever. So you can go through a toxic gas cloud on another planet, or a dense forest, and be fine from any insect or alien creature, snake, giant anaconda trying to kill you or whatever. You'll be fine in deep space. I mean, you gotta just do your work, put out the sentry post, or explore looking for gold veins or whatever, or just build your own homestead, whatever, with this extremely advanced technology. So this factory will be sent out there. But first, what happens is every single human over the age of 18 is guaranteed a birthright, a miniaturized starship, which is the knowledge and wisdom of the subatomic realm, the individual exponential ability to thrive. This is an extraterrestrial absolute. So when we spied on extraterrestrials with the Rift Base Fabric telescope and Rift Base Fabric Superbeater, this is what it injected into my mind, and this is what we learned. So an absolute. The knowledge and wisdom of the subatomic realm is the individual exponential ability to thrive. Okay. Another extraterrestrial absolute. When they have starships 20 times the size of the solar system, artillery the size of planets going off, and ships the size of planets is smacking into other ships out there, it's extreme dangerous. But one lie, this is the extraterrestrial absolute, one lie will deviate you from a correct course of action. A lie in extraterrestrial societies is intolerable. It's like if you went before an alien empire, and you lied to his face. They're so hyper intelligent, they'd figure that out so quickly, and they just put you to death. You don't want to do that. As a liberal, I'm not a liberal. I'm the man destroying the liberal global criminal empire and ripping mankind apart. I'm more or less the public enemy number one. I'm pretty much the enemy of the liberal global criminal empire and all sovereign civilized nations. I'm the man destroying them with the miniaturized starship, with the exponential freedom of mankind. Rip. The more that they play ball with this subatomic revolution, the more that they help the kingdom of God come, or what I believe, the innumerable Christian sea of people, which helps usher in the kingdom of God reign on earth. But if they, if they defy the subatomic revolution, the freedom of mankind, they will literally be destroyed. If you're a dictator on planet Earth, this IPO is going to give your people the miniaturized starship, and they're going to go free. They're not going to live under your rule or your terrible, terrible dictatorship or anything. And they're going to have a hard mass particle reactor that size a 55-gallon drum, or they can go to another atomic machinist and atomic level teleportation machining system and build a brand new one. It's an exponential revolution. They need it for a small town or a city. Now, this flying car can run 100 trillion times the speed of light. And it can go literally from one galaxy to another like that. So I'm not the government. I'm not considered a CIA agent, nothing like that. But I have, I'm like an asset that they would keep. I'm like so fucking high. I can't describe it. It's like there's no one on Earth higher than me. And extreme advanced technology. Got turbo cannons, hard mass levitators, Peter structure space fabric. Got teleportation lasers weigh 1,000 tons per square inch. Got everything on this damn computer. But I'm their golden goose apparently. So they'd just rather steal everything I have. So this is why I got to come out public and do all this stuff and show you how it's done. I've had many conversations and exposures to congressmen, and so basically, let's take an example. Basically, the nuclear weapon is obsolete. Stealth technology, submarines are obsolete. Ripped space fabric sensors to go right to the space fabric and can easily detect the vehicle. I'm the man who got stealth technology started by the government and got them paid for and all that stuff. The submarines, I chastised the United States Congress to build more submarines and got them made, but a decade later, I discovered the base of matter, and it makes it all obsolete. So a ripped base fabric piece of technology can see right through the water. Your submarine, $1 billion submarine, is just worthless. That nuke that sub is holding, a miniaturized starship can emit computer-structured space fabric in an entire volume in a big giant 100-mile area that nuke will not properly detonate. It can impede this. It can computer-structured space fabric lock up the explosive. It can lock up the neutron traveling through the uranium atom. It can warp the space fabric and throw all those neutrons out of there and make that deader than a cold fucking piece of lead. That nuke is 100% obsolete. That stealth technology is 100% obsolete with the miniaturized starship. It's no value. So what does that create? If you get the flying car up, that creates a constant, perpetual state of war with conventional weapons. But it doesn't, because this miniaturized starship, these vehicles, like imagine the Halo frigates going across the battlefield, and they emit computer structured space fabric. You can't fire a single gun or weapon. This is what's coming on planet Earth. What's coming on planet Earth that will spark the war of Ezekiel. I'm pretty sure. You have a big Halo frigate out there, and all the Arabs, the Israelis, Arabs, they can't shoot at each other, so they get really close, and then they jump in and invade when they're really too close. So this is what's coming on the planet Earth, the wrath of God. So we're going to free people, all the Christian people we can, into colonies and civilized structures of society, and we're going to just let you make exponential income, tax-free, 50, 80 years. Good, until the rules of colonization. You get 50,000 people, and then you vote for a governor, you vote for representatives, sheriffs, and all that stuff. You become a territory, but you're not allowed to rule the entire continent. You're only allowed to rule this state-like area. And then you vote. You get enough people over 20 more years, you can vote you vote to become the United States or some other country, whatever geopolitical structures existing in space. I don't believe the Mark of Beast will even be at that time. It's primarily one. I think it's going to happen a long time in the future, where like planets can't figure out how to trade, and so they have to like make some weird mark system or something like that. Can't buy and sell and trade without the mark, so they can't figure out how to do it just by letting people figure it. That's a long time in the future, but right now everybody will trade or barter with everybody else. It could be like the Wild West or Firefly or anything with the Star Trek Federation with destroyers like Star Wars. Have it all. So you got 9 billion people that the subtonic revolution has to give a flying car to first, but then it starts making the big assets. Now we can build bigger starships, but I'd like to do it in places other than Earth. A star yard. Basically, that means 50 feet of solidified earth or foam metal steel on a shipyard 10 square miles or something, a big place. Then we build these colony cities that go out there and fly and go to these places. So we take care of every single human being we can. You got free food, free power, and all this stuff. Or you get a constant supply of food. So basically, the colonist goes out there and they'll get all of those priorities from communication to food, almost literally free. But the subtonic revolution has to make money. So eventually, once you're established and started to colonize, you'll have to go to work and you'll have to pay for some of the goods and services. You get a drone delivered McDonald's, Big Mac or something, or Wendy's or Sonic or something. You can get literally any place in the galaxy. Hard mass, teleportation, 100 trillion times light speed drone, teleport into you a meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal. And that goes to your family. You get a full Connex container of supplies that you order or need or whatever you need per person. So these drones will deliver that. We'll have levitating tractor trailer drivers that if there's like a big store and it's got to get goods out, there'll still be truck driving jobs or similar jobs like that. Or have ships that carry 10, 20 or more Connex containers. There'll still be plenty of shipping jobs because that's 9 billion people that are going to go free in outer space. Economic deportation. So you build like a Walmart and Aldi's or a big box store like Dollar General. You put it on 2 or 3 foot thick slab of concrete. The Starship industry lifts that up into a bay of a ship or a movement container, big giant container that just surrounds it with densified nonpolar matter. It's made out of foam metal, and the shield is enveloped around the vehicle. The engine's an exponential horse-powered engine. It shoots you off to this other Earth-like world. It lands at facility. Construction workers hook up the septic and make sure the particle reactors producing the right amount of electricity, you don't want it to produce antimatter or hard mass explosions. You got internal computer structure space up in that store. You don't have to clean it. The store will clean itself. And you just got to people to stock the shelves or robotic arms, and you just pay for it. The currency is still in question. I don't know if it'd be cryptocurrency or some kind of digital printed dollar or something like that. We don't know that yet. We're not going to go there because the civilizations, the nations of the world are trying to do everything they can to stop the freedom of mankind. So we don't know how we can be connected to current civilization. Right now, the CIA gassed every single human on Earth and planted 100% lethal rip-based plastic spy gear in them and destroyed every government on Earth. In a trillionth second, you can die. It's a more dangerous threat than all the nuclear weapons. And this is what we're doing this for, to stop people from dying in a single trillionth second. The powers. There's rip-based super futures people. There's things like computer structure space. You will not be able to shoot anybody in the city, no matter what they do coming. And we got to free people from a forced utopia and actually create a real utopia that has equality and the rule of law and all that stuff. But first of all, we got to get people colonized. We got to establish an economic base for the Futurist functionalist Public Starship, and then we start selling the bigger assets, levitating cities, warehouses, flying terraforming machines, levitating four-wheelers and vehicles, hotshot vehicles, the size of a normal vehicle. A flying car is 4 times the size of an F-150. Four times the size as an F-150 pickup. It's got everything in there, but it just gives you a start out in space, soon colonized. But everything else is coming from. Now, we will not build or allow wood houses. This is junk. We will have foam metal or foam concrete buildings and walls for houses, because we need a house, a farm, a building to last 100, maybe 1,000 years if it all goes sideways. We need that thing to last forever and ever. Foam metal, foam concrete could allow just enough hard mass in it to be a shield wall in case of a super extraterrestrial war. Right now we're going to colonize 8 to 9 billion people. And we need a house that'll last 100 to 1,000 years in a constant state of unrestricted extraterrestrial warfare in this galaxy. Now you can move to, there's 26 dwarf galaxies, they say, in this local galactic cluster. This vehicles can run 100 trillion times speed light. Let me stop. So dimensionalized communications in the last 6 months or 3 months. The first supercomputer densified non-formal matter and component got contact with an extraterrestrial, then started codifying the calculations for dimensionalized communications. The next 2 or 3 communications to the extraterrestrials that were flying from the Milky Way, out of the Milky Way, going to some other place in space, is out of the galaxy. They're flying so fast that they're going out of the galaxy. They're not in the galaxy. They're flying out a long ways away and going away from the Milky Way. They are traveling from one galaxy to another, just like small towns down the highway. It's nothing to them to go outside the galaxy. So we know that this engine will run forces at 100 trillion times speed of light. We densify the base raw matter, the force super accelerates, and it's all about the structure of that force, how it goes through all the structures that we put in the base raw matter. We got to break it. When we energize and densify non-formal matter in computer structure space, we got to stabilize it, densify it to those forces speed light, and then we got to break it to where it actually to break it apart where it'll structure itself and give it all the horsepower it can at FDL. Those vehicles are going to pull 6,000 tons to orbit in a container or something and shoot it 100 trillion times light speed to any galaxy. That's a galaxy. There's 200 billion stars. There's only 8, 9 billion people. 7, who knows? Nobody counts them all. But they're going to have a lot of children to fill up this universe. And that'll definitely happen. And we have to keep the bottom line of this IPO, a contractual IPO, to build every single person over the age of 18 a miniaturized starship. We will sell these vehicles from time to time. They'll be sold on the open market or to the highest bidder, whatever we can get. But we will still, highest priority is to get every single human a miniaturized starship and a hard mass particle reactor in the door, just like a little pump generator or something. Be big as a 55-gallon, 5-gallon bucket. Now, the thing else. Now, if you're living in a more hostile environment and you acquire cannons, computer structure, space cyber drones, it better be worth the money, because all that stuff is going to incur a cost, and the IPO is not going to be able to pay. You're going to have to, if you live on a planet with aliens, and you can settle it and make money, you're going to have like computer structured space rack drones and shield emitters and walls and fencing just to keep everybody civilized. And you're going to do all that. But, all right. So basically, you're keeping the economy going, wherever you go. And this is keeping everybody civil. You'll have the right to have a personal sidearm, firearm, everything. You'll have a tank, and if you think you need a nuke, you probably won't have that just to protect yourself from other human beings. It'll be a total. So basically, I've talked to the United States Congress. I've talked to some congressmen on the spy network, and I'm being recorded by a spy skiff all the time. And I've told them the miniaturized starship will completely incapacitate the nuclear warhead, and they should realize that it makes stealth obsolete, submarines obsolete with rip-based technology. So what's happening? So let's pretend that the United States Congress put me in charge of nuclear weapon production. I tell them the flying car is making that obsolete. So what is happening is that I'm going to probably try to get a 4-story tall building made, all right? This building is connected to an 800-foot cannon. This comes out of a silo, the building flies up in space, and you have your officers and stuff crewing this orbital attack cannon or defense cannon, whatever you want to call it. And this orbital artillery makes the ICBM obsolete. This shoots hundreds of trillions times the light speed, or faster than ICBM. It can shoot a shield shot, it can shoot a round like a 1.155 round, or it can go to several like a megaton or maybe even 100 megatons, depending on how I make it. And this is just a point defense cannon that can do anything. So this system is what's going to replace the ICBM. The 800-foot cannon, 4-story tall building with people and bathrooms. And it's got to make it big enough to have like a kitchen in there so we can eat their food and all that stuff. And then you either got levitating halo-like ships or something stopping, computer structured space traffic, stopping bullets out in the battlefield. Then you have your spec ops, your apex soldiers, and go out there and arrest somebody. And so that's so much oppression that we got to free people from it. You can't have total absolute power over the globe. We're not. It's like the IPO is a $3 trillion IPO, but it could make $12 trillion a year investment and put out like a $1 trillion vehicle. And this vehicle, the main vehicles that this IPO produces could be in the trillions of dollars. We don't sell them to individuals. We only sell them to IPOs that are constantly working and constantly paying that off. And it's not straight up profit. So we have to make new IPOs that aren't extremely taxed by the government, not taxed yet by the government. At least 40, 80 years go by. So this $1 trillion vehicle is working this years, and they're paying basically rent to us. We can't see like major corporations right now, like all these billionaires, they don't pay taxes. They're not paying taxes on this stuff. But these starships that we build, we can't have them paying government taxes yet. The workers in these groups will pay personal taxes and stuff on their pay. That's the only way to keep it going. I don't really like that. No one likes paying taxes. If you get free enough and start going to another colony, and the colony builds up fast enough where you can operate this vehicle, and you might be able to do it tax-free for indefinitely in a $1 trillion vehicle. We're talking about $1 trillion vehicles. If it gets hit by an asteroid or a bullet or an artillery, which is very unlikely, that thing will start teleporting metal in its hull. So we call these ships Futurist, functionalist, Public Starship Industry, Starship name our Starship top of the line, the best ships humanity, the epitome of mankind ever built. A ship that automatically heals its stuff, that automatically computer structures its environment. From it, you can go outside and all the animals have been teleported out or moved away or mentally demented or something like that. Computer structure space. These starships will intellectualize you, make you more intelligent. You got an FTL hard mass computer structure space super. If you got brain cancer, you got some kind of you're high. Those molecules can be dropped out of interfering with you. And it goes down a whole list of like chemicals that make you high or something. So you don't have to take an actual chemical to make you high. It's actually computer structure space that are manipulating your brain and your body to feel no pain or feel high. It just turns off. You go right back to normal. You can experience being high like you're on the marijuana for 5 minutes and boop. Oh, that was quite a cool sensation. Like you can actually smoke that for real, or someday this ship will actually just simulate it for you and stuff. That goes down a whole list of medical achievements. We got artificial lungs and kidneys and stuff to make and limbs and stuff, but we found the matter that actually makes it work, and we know what the mass is doing. So I was tortured by the CIA for such an extended period of time. When I would get hurt or stung by the bee, they'd watch it all flow through every single cell. I was so spied on, like to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. And that's basically how they're spying on every human on Earth. We tried to get a website or get people to make a website of every single human on Earth and to prove to them that they'd get access to the website and prove that they were being spied on by the CIA and the United States government to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. If that's a crime, they will not rectify that. The FBI and the CIA fight it very vigorously that they're covering up. So, I mean, we can't get past that right now. But it's still there. It's still in the works. Why don't you testify before Congress, Rob? I've told them over and over. And trying to stop digital code running through little children stuff. You can't believe what the hell the United States government is actually doing. You think the Epstein files are bad? Well, they are extremely bad. But what's coming upon that Earth is extremely bad. Computer structure, space fabric, digital code inserted the body, electrolysis, poisons, computer structure, space fabric. We have to expose this so we stop. Malinvestment wrecks the economy. You invest in stealth, you invest in submarines, that's a wrecking economy. Just support the Starship. Support your own ability to build a Starship from scratch and get it. I'm trying to get this IPO started, and it's going to literally free 8-9 billion people, and that'll be the new economic base for capitalism. You still have to go to work after you have the ability to fly 100 trillion times light speed. At least 6 months out of the year, you got to come back and possibly try to make $1 million. You can either teleport mine asteroid fields. You got 90 million people that are going to try to help build the miniaturized Starship. 500 million international ore flyers flying all over the universe collecting ore. 2.2 billion construction workers. Foam metal, foam concrete buildings. Moving big giant buildings around and all this stuff. So that's almost 2-3 billion people right there. So then you got everybody else, colonizing, exploring, and living out there and devouring extraterrestrial technology that is just literally everywhere. So we try to have to make a market for advanced alien technology. Have to have scientists capable of understanding what the hell this is. And we don't bring the problems back to planet Earth. Okay? If you're getting chased by aliens, you go to a fortress city or a starbase, alright? On every good colonizable planet, there'll be like a Star Wars like fortress. You got a big slab of wall, and it'll have an entire city in there, or there'll be a star base that's a big slab of metal with starships being construction under construction. Excuse me, I have no idea why I said. And then you have artillery and computer structured space fabric that can impede that attack or direction. So what's it like? So I've been designing, thinking of special forces and other operations. By the first, the miniaturized starship comes before all of this. Second, we build something like a Halo frigate. Special forces go out there, and they got grenades strapped on them, like a crazy military terrorist or something. Or well, they got grenades. Well, these grenades will have computer structured space fabric that will stop the other computer on the alien ship, the FTL hard mass computer, from EMP new computer structured space fabric and taking over your mind, your body from taking over. And if there's some grenades will fly off and automatically explode stuff when the humans incapacitated or in the moments they'll automatically attack. So one extraterrestrial event was like 3 ships that are a mile or half a mile came out of the air and threatened the entire U.S. Pacific Fleet. So I'm sticking to the story. So I got it through the superhero. And I've seen them. I had these injected into my mind. There's like 3 big giant panhead aliens, and one was a big bulbous balloon-like alien, and he has this giant scar. Now there's a story of a guy being abducted by some aliens, and he fought back and attacked some of them, and I believe that this alien is one of those aliens. So there's like 4 of these extraterrestrials. They're like 6 to 8 feet. The aliens that are in charge of this region of space, and they threaten the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Will destroy all your ships, or basically the entire United States Navy. If you, well, I can't exactly remember. So anyway, they threatened the U.S. Navy, and said that this planet was theirs and the people on it were theirs. So we're literally in a territory of an alien empire. All right, it's just another block of territory they chalk out of the universe and say, hey, it's ours, without really any due process or validity, or without anybody standing up. So the United States government has been threatened with complete annihilation at least or over 3 times. So the flying car comes first before any government operation. The miniaturized starship, it can do everything. I was telling Marines over the spy network that they can take like this miniaturized starship. They wanted a shielded tank. Shielded tank. We're not going to do that. We're going to build a miniaturized starship where you can levitate a computer structured space fabric, a ton of ammo, and put it in a truck or something, or another levitating carrier. So the flying car would fly up here, and the pallets up here, and it'll just grab it, and you can just go up and over and put it in like that. So we have computer structured space fabric coming out of this vehicle, more advanced than you possibly. FTL, travel and computing systems, and life support to the trillion scale of subatomic particle. It's insane. So we're not going to build a shielded tank. We're going to build the miniaturized starship that'll do all that and much more. And so, what's one thing I need to tell? So, basically, like in Stargate SG-1 or the Stargate series, you energize the base roll matter until it becomes stable, and you're constantly energizing, you're constantly drawing that matter. It's not radiating anything. It's perfectly stable. It's not antimatter. It's basically hard mass. And basically, you just computer structure it to it's in the portal there, but now this, in order for get a portal to work, we have to have a hard mass generator source, and we project the forces of hard mass structures into the space fabric, and they start collecting the ambient, the base raw matter, and deplete it. And this is what makes a dimensionalized communication. So this is codified in the main replace supercomputer and secret calculations. Super complicated algorithms. I cannot do math, guys. I cannot do that. I just know how it works. And basically, you project this hard mass and forces, and it starts depleting the space fabric, and that allows hypertransit forces that are then digitized in these supercomputers, like base fabric supercomputers, 15 trillion times maxed out thinking every human mind on Earth. I mean, they perfectly digitize it, and they can get video from extraterrestrials that are traveling outside the galaxy at high speeds. And they're talking like they're fucking people. They can speak English. The scientific group of aliens can definitely understand English. We know that now. They spied on us so damn long. They collected so many samples, and they will only come back probably in the summer. The reason for, I guess, why do they go? They will not typically be in the winter. Because I guess there's not enough ambient non-polar matter to use out of the space fabric when the planet is sucking in the ultralight non-polar matter, and it's cold. They don't wear fucking clothes. There's many logical reasons why they don't come in the wintertime. And dimensionalized communications literally proved that aliens are not traveling in and through the galaxy. They're traveling outside of the galaxy. Just literally. So imagine the quantum communication in Joshua Dalzell's Omega Force, or getting on the bridge of the Mass Effect ships, the Mass Effect series, communicating back. That type of civilization, if once you realize they discovered the base raw matter can do that, it's not an intergalactic civilization. It's an outside. So when I first seen the starships that have encapsulated stars move around in solar system size ships 4 or 20 times the size of a solar system, I thought the aliens came outside the Milky Way from like Andromeda, and then started constructing these massive vehicles in this smaller galaxy that was easier to capitulate. If they came from a galaxy 2 trillion stars like Andromeda, and they came over here and they subjugated this smaller galaxy, the Milky Way, that's what I originally suggested or informed the government of what they're doing. But now it's more like it's a possibility. The scientific group of aliens is traveling outside the galaxy, and it's not an intergalactic problem. But the main war that we see from encapsulated star, well, they encapsulate stars and put them in ships 4 or 20 times the size of the solar system. Then the other aliens, this galaxy is filled with trillions and trillions of extraterrestrial vehicles. Okay, it's not peaceful, right? Artillery the size of the planet going off, shooting ships that are potentially fleeing this war zone. Ships the size of the planet smacking into this ship that's 4 or 20 times the size of our solar system. It's enormous. There's one that goes around in a racetrack pattern. It has like 200 yellow lights, little bitty contrails or something around it, like nanites. And those ships, those nanite-like ships around this massive solar system-sized ships, are the nanites depicted in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We got that inserted in there. And this one will go around the racetrack pattern, like, I don't know if those are chasing it or part of its fleet or what. Or construction, we have no idea. The other one just sits there, and it got struck by a ship that's the size of a planet, and the space fabric itself just like flew off like purple shards of shrapnel. It is just fucking horrifying. It's crazy. And I don't know. We never looked at C4 explosions happening to see if the space fabric goes off in shrapnel with the space fabric piece, computer or technology. We know that the hard mass energy weapons artillery in space has internal components. It's got a main beam, then it has a zigzag, like it offloads the explosion off of it. Like you have a plume coming direct to you from the alien cube, and it has this offloader that just throws all that explosion off. We don't know exactly what it's doing either, but we've seen it. This is like super complicated alien weaponry technology, and it's right there. It is either protecting Earth, defending. It's a war scale unimaginable. Like all the war on planet Earth would pale in comparison. The special forces would be like looked at as like kindergartners, guys. They don't have a chance in hell to make it. And so this is why the miniaturized starship, to take all the eggs out of one basket on planet Earth and set them through the stars, and just constantly allow them to communicate and live. And there'll be a bounty hunter, there'll be a sheriff over people, there'll be cops, or there'll be hospital. All the amenities of human society in the first world will go to every single. We'll make QRF, quick reaction forces, that rescue, that hospitalize, and anybody that's forming a gang or steal stuff, or yeah, you'll be arrested. You can't do that. They'll still be subject to the law. It will not pass away because everybody's, and you're forbidden from killing other people in space. Period. Even if you find extraterrestrial humans, you are not allowed to kill them or eat them, elites. You cannot eat children out there. You're not going to get a free rein to do that. You're going to be stopped. We got to stop the elites from eating children. Yes, we do. And I just got to. So the United States Congress has no validity. The FBI has no validity. The CIA has no validity. The United States government has no validity because they allowed the human race to be built up and plan on mind control. Putin has no validity. No, their governments are dead too. So before it all collapses, we got to get this IPO going with all this worthless money and free mankind in space, so we have stability from what's really coming in the future. FTL microchips, you got hard mass microchips. You don't need copper wire. You don't need that. You have a little microchip that can energize and densify and stabilize the base raw matter, and forces accelerate trillions and trillions times speed of light. And the calculation capability. So all these microchips, all these special minerals, are worthless. Because the base raw matter is what is transiting the forces that replicate from this structured singularity, this particle, this nucleus, to the eye or the observer. So when scientists look at molecules, they always move. There's a constant drift of ultralight non-form matter, at various densities and voids, moving this particle all around. The fine structure constant, or whatever that's called, it's not really due to the atom. It's the ultralight non-form matter. The fine structure constant in the UFO movie, that is happening, but it's due to the base raw matter. You have to go to the trillionth scale of a subatomic particle to energize and densify and void the base raw matter. It's like dimensionalized communications, dimensionalized portal networks, hyper communication systems, and aliens are out there. And you're going to have to be a good person with a good character to lead the way, to find a path forward, to colonize. And you're going to have some fucking mental discipline. Because what you're going to go do out in space is colonize. You're going to have to build a garden. You're going to have to build a farm. You're going to have to do everything you need to possibly survive and keep your wits. You're going to have to educate your children. You're going to have to grow and teach them every single thing mankind has ever known. And constantly push the limits while the simple stuff is done by extremely advanced machining, computer structured spacecraft. You got an orchard or farm. You don't need illegal immigrants to do it. You got pure structure space, right? Pulling those apples off the tree, putting them in a box, and those getting sealed up and shipped by either a man or a hard mass projecting drone on any planet in the dang universe. And then people buying that on a wholesaler's market, either a levitating orbital ship on an orbital freaking not shipyard, but a station. Station is what I'm looking for. You got everything. You got everything. You got every single human on Earth is going to be able to get every single good and service from. You got a computer structure space fabric factory, and it's going to put a lawnmower together with you. Somebody's going to use a machining system to either make an entire fucking engine block from scratch, or it's going to assemble this thing with very few people. You got 8-9 billion people that are doing their own thing, making money, or there's more jobs than there ever has been in the history. You got mountain ranges. You got this perfect rock slab in this gigantic mountain range, and you tunnel out the mountains on top of the mountains, and you provide a natural ambient freezer. Drones come in and fill it full of food and frozen goods and stuff, and for that planet, that's a storehouse up in a mountain nobody's ever going to touch. You'd be doing stuff like that. You got teleportation wells to build. We'll have an atomic level machinist, and they'll make a block of metal, and what it'll do is flow and energize and flow the base raw matter through it, and basically you put all these pieces of metal, it'll teleport that water from I don't care miles deep, and it will clean that too. These pieces of metal, they're machined to the atomic level. The atoms are moved just right to flow this base raw matter through it, and they energize it and densify it, and then they'll start teleporting up water. And or if you have a pipeline, this pipeline will just be stuck in the ocean, and it'll flow that water through there, and it'll automatically desalinate it. This is pure structure space fabric. This is hard mass flow teleportation. You also got dimensionalized communications, and also dimensionalized energy emitters and teleportation devices. So you got a flying car, and it will tunnel a hole through the space fabric, and you fly around Jupiter 3 or 4 times, and you'll fill up with oxygen, water in your flying car and stuff. It makes a mechanical void for that oxygen and water, and it does it real fast. FTL transit of oxygen, O2, or water from like Jupiter or Saturn or whatever gas giant. You just fill up your reserves and go 100 trillion times the speed of light. You got enough air and water to make it. You got Star Trek, USS Enterprise, with all these people. They might take 3-4 hours to fill up with water and stuff and junk like that. The subatomic revolution is probably going to make scientific core 1, scientific core 2, just to see if the planet's viable for human habitation. Scientific core 2 would go there and see if there's any major diseases and stuff that are extreme danger. First one is just say, hey, we can walk on this and be fine. It's great for colonization, and they just do that. Then you have the square, rectangular ambassador ships. Now these ships will go try to find the apex alien civilizations.